to Jang, who I think is the biggest Daredevil fan here. Tell us how they botched Kingpin.
Aiyo. Ah, no, as you
Disappointment.
can, yeah, as you can see from Ethan and Mel who don't know him, they made him an idiot.
Oh
What's happened
no.
to him? He's in the Daredevil series. He's just for Daredevil. He's beheaded a guy with a door.
Oh yeah,
He's
yeah.
beat people senseless. He's like when you see him come, you're like,
Panic.
oh,
Matt
Yeah.
he's
Murdock
coming.
panic. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then like especially like even when he delivers lines in that here not
Yeah.
really, but when he delivers lines in Daredevil, you're like,
So
oh
much power,
my.
right?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
power.
Yeah, in this one he's just an idiot in a Hawaiian shirt just running around like lol. What it's like
Oh no.
yeah, that was like that's really what I hate about this episode. They really destroyed him. And like at first I wanted like a cameo from Daredevil or like some mention from Daredevil, but I'm happy that he's got nothing to do with this.
They did not massacre my boy.
Yeah, they didn't massacre my boy. So like why did they do
This
Kingpin?
episode really dropped the ball for you, didn't it? Like you actually like, I think the most out of everyone here. You actually enjoyed this series
Oh.
for the
Yeah,
most
and
part.
like I thought like maybe like in those scenes like they'll explain like how he's linked into the MCU, like maybe like I don't know, during the blip he survived and because of that he's been taking over, or like how he because in the Daredevil series there's no mention of Maya. So like we need to know
Yeah.
how they're connected. I want to
Yeah.
know. But they don't tell you anything. They're just there like, oh, he's just there like, oh, you owe me money. like what are you doing? So like
Oh, no.
then yeah, cannot.
For Fez, what was
This-
the worst aspect of this episode for you?
Where do I begin? I have like notes on
In
how bad this episode is. Number one,
Oh
every
God.
character in this series had no depth compared to the other Marvel TV show we had. There were so many opportunities to show how Clint felt guilty of Nat's death, and that scene would have been more impactful when he said we have to find a way to live with Nat's death. But it was not impactful
Ooh,
because
no,
of
that was good.
awful
That was
writing.
good, Love.
Nope.
That was good, Love.
Like there was also the opportunity, that last scene with Kate and Clint, to see how they've grown and have that emotional relation, like that emotional connection. But no, it was a joke. And
Yes, Queen.
they just spent so much time with them, and like you just spend so much time with the characters, and then we see nothing, and it's nothing. We see nothing different from when he was in the MCU to now. And also, look, just because you don't have high stakes doesn't mean you can't make a good show. Okay, I just finished watching from the Spider-Man marathon, Spider-Man Homecoming. Look,
Oh, that's a good movie.
the stakes were not high, okay? The
Yeah.
stakes are similar to Hawkeye. They are not high. But you know why it's still a good movie? Because of great writing. You don't have to have a high level Avengers threat storyline just to have a good episode. So if Spider-Man can do it, then a 6 episode Hawkeye can do it too. Okay? Also, I don't like how Jack was really a random character in this movie. He was just there for
Oh.
story. He was just there for storyline convenience. And here we all are, we're like predicting: is he the villain? Is he not the villain?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh my
Poor
God.
writing. He was just there for comedic timing or there for storyline convenience. Being, oh, is he the villain? Is he not the villain? I don't know what they wanted to achieve with that character. And yeah, so what? And like, okay, and my last ranting point is the tone in this episode was so off. Like when Kate and Yelena's like interaction was cool. I liked it when they complimented each other. But then sometimes it just ruins the tone. And then when the cosplay people came to fight, they're like, I don't know, like when they just were in their
Aiyo,
costume and they're like, it's time to fight. When they mean fight, save the civilians, I'm like, okay, that was the cringe and that was the lowest of Marvel. I'm sorry. I don't care about them. And also the end of credit scene. I don't know if you guys will have a mixed reaction.
Save the city.
I
love it.
hated it. I hated it
Same.
so much. It's cute, but what was the purpose? Yeah, that's the end of my TED talk. The how disappointing Hawkeye is.
Wow. Okay, I think we found our snippet. Okay, thank you all for joining us. No, but in all honesty, Okay, here's one thing. I say the weakest thing for me in this whole episode was the mom, Kate Bishop and the mom. Like that relationship is really shit. I mean, the storyline, like the whole, there's no actually everything you just said. So I'm not gonna top it. There's no depth. There's nothing to it. It's all surface level, gobbly goo. And just the part like, oh, mom, I'm gonna send you to jail. Is that what heroes do? I'm like, what is going on? But see, your hatred, I'm gonna counter that with some love, which is
Okay.
the moral of West Side Story, if you will. Love triumphs over hate. I thought this episode was a lot of fun. I had a good time. It was all right.
I had fun.
I'll say one thing. The action scenes were pretty good for the most
Okay,
part.
yeah.
They were quite fun. I mean, I was waiting like Spider-Man? Spider-Man? Where's the Spider-Man?
Where he
No,
no
because
he
literally,
know here.
no, it makes so much sense because he's literally swinging around during Christmas. You could see the Rockefeller Center. He should have showed up. But that the thing is, I don't know what the rights are because Sony owns 100% of the rights to Spider-Man. So I don't know how it works with a TV show, but whatever. Okay, he didn't show up, fine. But the action scenes were kind of cute. And then I remember halfway thinking like, oh wait, why are they just charging at a bunch of people shooting arrows at you? But then like Eason reminded me, oh yeah, the guns all got trapped. But I'm like, it doesn't seem very smart to go charge at them. It's kind of dumb, you know? Like you don't walk straight into someone shooting bows and arrows at you. Like, what do you think is gonna happen? I don't know. And why were there so many bros? Right? Oh wait, I'm supposed to
Man,
be talking about the positives.
they are bros, man. They are bros. Bros, man.
No.
What you expect?
I'll say I really like Jack's character. I thought he's a lot of fun. Like I just see him and I smile because I'm reminded of Better Call Saul. And I think what they did the whole like, oh, is he bad? Is he good? And he's just like this overly charismatic guy who smiles a lot and is good with the sword. That's kind of fun. It's cool. But I'll say for me, the highlight of this episode again is Florence Pew 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 Pew, reprising her role again as Yelena. One, her action scenes and her general just back and forth with Haley Steinfeld is like peak. I could watch the scene in the lift. I could watch like a whole series of that. I want Florence Pugh to have a trilogy. I want her to be in the Spider-Man movies. I want her to be in the Avengers. I want her everywhere. She's the latest Marvel star, if you will. And I thought the scene with Hawkeye at the end, I don't know, I really was touched by that. I was getting emotional at the end. I was like, oh, this is kind of sweet. You know, if it makes sense, the parallels of another Black Widow. Oh no, I had a really good idea about the when it came to parallels, but I seem to have lost my train of thought. But I don't know. I thought Jim that conclusion and that catharsis just worked really well for me. I was like getting teary eyed a bit. I was like, no, I didn't actually like cry, but I was like, oh, this is nice. I remember thinking to myself. And my third shout out and only one is to Alaqua Cox again as Echo. I thought she was great. Like the women of the show, Florence Pugh and Alaqua Cox as Echo. I like the scene where she's fighting Jon Snow Light. I felt her emotion there, and she's really good with the physicality. I can feel her hurt, her pain, and all that. So yeah, that's about it, honestly, for this show. Does anyone have any other positives they'd like to add on?
The trick arrows are pretty fun, I guess.
Yeah, I like the part like where Haley Steinfeld was like so and combine all the arrows that flick. Oh, I didn't expect that coming. I was like, oh shit, it's a good thing. Good flick though.
Oh yeah,
that's my
that
favorite
flick.
scene.
Oh,
I was
my
like,
God.
it happened. It's just. Then I was like, yo, that's sick. Not gonna
No,
lie.
but that's another sad thing I have to say. Like for Kingpin, that pin has a story. There's a
Yeah,
very
there's
long
a-
story
It's a
behind that
dark
pin,
story
and she just
also.
flicked it into.
We'll be like, okay, lah, why not? Whoops.
Yeah,
all gone.
so like,
But so no one enjoyed this episode. I give it a 7. I give it a
It's
nice.